Hi, and welcome back. In this quick start lesson, you'll learn the essentials of working with native sensors in ProtoPie. It's a powerful and unique feature, and today we'll focus on what you can do with your device's camera. But first, make sure to have your phone and the ProtoPie Player app ready for the full experience. Now, let's roll. Open the Pi file in ProtoPie Studio. To create our camera app interaction, you need to add a camera layer. From the Media dropdown in the top right, choose Camera. Draw your camera layer so that it is the size of the screen. In the Layers panel, move it to the bottom of the stack so that it is under all of the UI components. Now we need to tell the camera to start. Add a start trigger, then a camera response. Select your camera layer. Since we want to start the camera, leave the default Start action selected. You can also choose which camera to start with. Choose Rear. Let's preview. Are you seeing just a black screen with a camera icon? That's because in order to see the camera's picture, you need to run your Pi on your device. Open ProtoPie Player and scan the QR code. Now you should be able to see your camera's picture. Great! Now let's take a picture. In ProtoPie, you simulate taking a picture by stopping the camera. This freezes the image on the last frame captured by the camera. Add a tap trigger to the Shutter button layer group. Add a camera response. This time, choose Stop as the action. Let's preview again. It works! Currently, it's a pretty simple camera experience. We can only take one picture, and we have very little feedback to let us know the picture has been taken. Let's make this snazzier. How about adding a flash effect? Go ahead and create a rectangle shape over the entire layout. Set the fill color to white and the opacity to 0. Rename the layer to Flash. Head back to the tap trigger. Add an opacity response to the flash layer. Set the opacity 100 with a duration of 0 seconds. Add a second opacity response, this time with the flash's opacity to 0, but with a duration of 1 second. And what's a camera experience without a nice shutter sound effect? Do you notice the layer named Shutter SFX? Let's have it play each time the shutter button is tapped. Pro tip time. Remember that in order for a sound to play repeatedly, you need to reset it each time. Add a reset response under the tap trigger to reset the sound effect to its start. Then add a playback response to play the sound. Lastly, after we've taken a picture, you'll want the camera to start again. Add a camera response to the camera layer and choose the Start action. Leave the camera selection set to Current Camera. Remember this because it's going to come in handy later. Add a start delay of 2 seconds so that the camera restarts 2 seconds after taking the previous picture. Let's preview. Our experience is shaping up nicely. But what if you wanted to take a selfie? How would we switch to the front camera? ProtoPie makes this easy. Add a tap trigger to the layer named Switch Cam button. Add a camera response to the camera layer and choose Switch for the camera option. Let's preview again. We should be able to switch between the front and rear cameras now. Say cheese! Remember in a previous step when we restarted the camera with the Current Camera option? With this option selected, the camera restarts with whichever camera was last used. So if you took a selfie, the experience restarts with the front camera. To do so, you must select the camera layer and set its origin to center first. We're almost done, but let's make this experience more realistic by animating the switch between the front and rear cameras using 3D rotation. Under the tap trigger for the Switch Cam button layer, add a 3D rotate response. Rotate the camera layer by 180 degrees. Keep the default direction option, left to right around the vertical axis. Let's preview. Not quite right. Our rotation completes before the camera switch happens. We need to somehow account for this delay in our experience. The solution will be to rotate the camera layer by 90 degrees, then wait for the camera switch to complete. Finally, we'll complete the remaining 90-degree rotation. Here's how. Adjust the 3D rotate response so that it rotates 90 degrees. Now duplicate the 3D rotate response. We need a start delay long enough for the camera switch to complete. You may need to experiment with this value to get it to look right. A delay of 0.6 seconds seems just right for this phone. Let's preview this one last time. This looks great, just like a real camera app, and it really was easy as pie. See you in the next one.